as good at the position as I am, or as qualified, or as educated, or as capable. Simply because I'm a woman, you can understand how that, if the tables were turned and somebody were saying the same things that you're saying to me, to you, you would not be okay with it.
Well, the tables
You
can't be
wouldn't.
turned because
you're essentially telling me that I need to make a space for you by going away everywhere you want to be. I want to be here, so you can't be here because I can't be here and say things about dicks while I'm working because it might upset you, and I want to talk about dicks while I'm working. So, if I want to be an asshole at work, that's your problem, not mine. And so I have to go home now. I have to go home and raise kids because you want to have this space to you, and me being there means that you can't have it the way you want to, and you can't deal with not having it the way you want to. And that means that you have to go on the internet and be an asshole, and that's my fault for wanting to do my job without having to listen to you be an asshole.
That's a good point.
I think you're getting a bit emotional about it.
No.
Can you understand why, though?
I'm a woman, so
I want to say
of not traditional values, I suppose. I mean,
or we could address the point I made.
Hold on, guys.
Okay, like I was going to say.
I want to say, Sal, real quick, Sal. I want to say, based, I think I can speak for the general consensus among men when I say that I have shockingly shared the workspace with women, and I have never felt like I can't be myself and talk about things that I want to, because I don't feel the need to. That's never a desire.
But Kyle,
I've
you're
had.
a gay
I've
feminized
never had
boy.
an issue. That's true. I'll say it.
You're basically a girl, Kyle. You're basically
a girl with a dick, really.
But listen, that means that because I'm gay, that means that I want to talk about dick. I guarantee you, way more than the average guy. So I think that makes me an expert in this.
Accurate.
Okay, so back up logic. Back up. But yeah, I don't know many guys that have felt that way. That felt like that they can't talk about what they want to, or they have to act a different way. The way that I look at it is that most guys are decent people and don't have these desires to hide an aspect of their life to be around other guys. I've just never seen it. And I don't think that it's. I think it exists with a certain group of people and a certain number of people, and those certain people turn into incels or men that go their own way, that sort of thing. What would you say to that?
Well, I'm not really sure what I would say to that, I suppose. Not really sure. I mean, I guess I don't know.
Okay.
Don't really have an answer.
All right. You were getting ready to say something there a second ago when I brought it up. You can go ahead and finish your point on that.
No, I'll be good.
Okay. Ladies, any more questions?
I don't want to talk to this guy anymore.
Everybody good to go?
He wants to talk to me.
I would say that, like, with the, I mean, this all seems to come, like, it comes back to, like, the office environment and stuff. Like, I got the impression working in the office that it wasn't like it was, like, it was sort of a self-censored environment, right? But it wasn't because there were women there. It was because it's, like, all business, and you're just there to sort of do your professional job and go home, right? And some people didn't feel that way. Like, some people would have their little friend groups and go out for drinks or whatever. But it was actually pretty rare that anyone was actually friends with anyone else, really. But it wasn't because you're scared that if you say something off, the women are going to bear down upon you. In fact, it was just the same with the guys. Like, it was like you just don't want to talk about your personal life too much, was kind of the vibe, right? And this is where I'm sort of confused. Is like, to me, I just don't see how this is a women-men issue, really. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think there's just, I guess, second final statement. There is an issue of the dynamics between men and women and women, and men and men and women, I suppose. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, men are a little bit kind of less caring about what they say to each other in a kind of shitposty kind of, talking shit environment, I suppose. And when you're talking with the women, you don't, you could go to HR in 5 seconds. But I actually need to go in 5 seconds, but I just wanted to say, thank you for having me.
Oh, you got to go. I have somebody that wants to talk to you. I have an actual feminist that wants to come on and talk to you.
What time are we? I might be able to stay for a little bit longer. Okay.
Okay, we'll do. It won't be long. We'll make it quick. But she was in the live chat, and she's a good friend of ours, and she wanted to ask a couple questions of you. So, Brittany, I sent you the link. You can come in, and you can go back to what you were saying, Sal, until she pops in.
I mean, I guess fundamentally the issue I really do see here is that men's only environments are being shunned by women's spaces, I suppose. I mean, you have female-only gyms, we have the old kind of Me Too movement, and yeah, there definitely is some credence to both of these things. But, I mean, there's also things where it's very hard to have explicitly male-only spaces. And we don't, and another
Open
thing,
one.
going back to incels, going back to incels, we really ought to have empathy for them, I suppose. Like I said, I do think some of the shit they post is despicable, but we do have to have empathy for them. When people call them out and say, "Oh, you're a horrible person," it's certainly not helping build them a higher kind of spine. It's only kind of reinforcing the view that the whole world is against them.
Okay, so I'm supposed to have empathy for them. However, I've been told that I should just allow incels to rape me so that they can get fucked. So, like, I'm supposed to have empathy for them, but they can treat me however the fuck they want to. Because I'm a woman? Like, why should we put up with that kind of shit and then still be empathetic towards them?
Like I said, I think that kind of action is despicable. I mean, what more kind of doubling down do you expect me to do?
We addressed this earlier. To be fair, there are people that are legitimately looking for a space that just, like Panda, who was on here first, that just need support and to be lifted up. So I will agree with you there. Like, there are people that just need support and need to be lifted up. And they should be supported and lifted up. But conflating them with the people that now own this moniker, the people that now post in abundance. We just had a conversation about this, about raping and abusing women. Like, I don't believe, and cutting them in half and posting gore posts. Those people shouldn't be defended. You should be allowed to point to them and criticize and say that's bad without having to worry that you're damaging the people that do need help. And we should not be vilified because we are pointing to those things. Those things are dangerous. Those things are bad. And those things are damaging. And we're not doing that because we want to hurt the people that need help. We're doing it because we want to save them from being and becoming like that because they're vulnerable. So what are you going to do to help those people so that they don't end up there? What is your plan to help those people so they don't end up with the bad ones? Do you have
and kick the bad people out?
All right. We'll take a breath. Let's say hello to Brittany. Brittany is one of my favorite people. She is. How are you doing, Brittany? What do you have? What do you have to say? I thought you wanted to. We can.
Yes. Wait, can you hear me? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
I had my head in the bathtub. I was dyeing my hair, and I was like, bitches, I got to get on this, yo. Okay. I've only been listening for like 20 minutes, so I think. So I might have missed the prep conversation, I actually just have a question for everybody, and maybe that can lead us into a better conversation.
Sure.
Is there anything, okay, ready? Is there anything unethical with having companies that are women only or men only spaces?
No.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Is it ethical to have private businesses that run for men only and women only spaces, like a women only company or men only company? Could that be a viable reality, let's say within the world or the United States or the West, where it wouldn't be unethical, but it could still be a safe place for those gendered people?
Oh, well, it was implicitly like that 70 years ago. And still is like that in a lot of kind of blue collar, fluoro collar workers, that's for sure.
But from my understanding, those companies exist out of a convoluted concept that women couldn't join those industries. But I'm talking about in the modern 2018 world, could we create a society where a women's only space was run by women for women, and it wasn't meant to be not inclusive so much as just an area where these kinds of brains could mesh together? Not that women brains are different than men brains, but it's more or less, I'm wondering if everyone gets upset because what's happening is the world economy has been run by men for men, and what we're asking for is a seat at the table. You've heard this phrase before, I'm sure, in politics. So I'm asking, if men aren't going to invite us into their big corporations, you must understand the retaliation will just be us competing against you, when the goal should be competing with each other for a better world. But if that can't be accomplished, maybe we can create a world where we could all have our own businesses without being completely unethical about it.
Well, if you want to start your own kind of colony in the Amazons, no one's stopping you.
What is that?
Oh, so
Well,
you
I
want
don't
us
think
in the
anyone-
Amazon? We can't be in the regular space competing with you. We have to be out in the middle of the fucking Amazon.
I think she's saying
That
what
was-
she's
Do you
saying.
listen to yourself?
Yeah.
I don't think that's what she's saying.
No. So what I'm trying to say is we can't have it both ways unless we all agree that we can find a way to make it work cohesively. What I'm asking is for a suggestion that how we haven't done that could work. Because as much as I appreciate the world that came before us, it no longer reflects the world that is. Women want a space at the table. I would like a space in my own corporate kind of entity, but I want it within the confines of the rules that are already in place, or in a world where we change the rules. I don't want men to feel threatened when going to work, but if your brain, and everyone has a unique brain, can't operate amongst women, then where can we put you that you won't be a threat to the forward progression and where you won't feel threatened by going to work?
I think the fundamental issue, look, if you're asking about kind of creating a space for women in a men's only world, I do think that there are rare cases where, women can compete with men. Rare cases, mind you. But I think the whole kind of, there's been a bill to try and get, the whole thing with quotas. I don't really think quotas is the way to go about it. That's the thing. Definitely
Me
not.
neither.
Because if you're trying to say, let's get 50-50 in the workforce, that kind of issue is fundamentally missing the fact that men go into different career paths and women go into different career paths, partially due to what men and women need, both physically, mentally, whatever. And that I don't think that really kind of forcing that on men is really the way to go. Yeah, there are rare cases where, men can, go into childcare, or where, women can become, who knows? But, it's rare cases, mind
God
you.
forbid
and with the
men
current
take care of their
system,
children.
But
So,
I'm simply
if I
saying
may,
that,
yeah. And if I may, I did come late to the conversation. I just want to make sure the premise of my understanding is correct. We are talking about the modern world as we know it. We're not talking about a country that doesn't exist, right? We're trying, okay, just making sure. If I may, so I try to treat everyone as an individual. So I don't do the whole gendered men and women thing. I understand statistics. I understand biology. All of this stuff can still be true while taking into account the individual. So what I prefer to do, and let me know if this works within your brain frame, but what I would like to do is create a world where individuals are rewarded for their successes and they're not punished for group identity. But by to get to that point, you have to first acknowledge that the rules were set up through group identity, i.e. white men, and then we need to then